Welcome back. This is season 2. So season 1 got a little bit cut off. I planned to do quite a lot, but yeah, it didn't happen. So this year my commitment is one session for each of the 4 seasons. So this is the spring session, and I'm committing to doing 4. Okay. And with it being the first one of the year, rather like last year, well, one of my themes is clearing things out. I've decided that I'm going to begin each year with, it's not an original idea. I'm not going to claim that I've invented the idea of either the spring clean or New Year resolutions, but I am going to begin each year by clearing some old stuff out at the beginning of the year. I've decided I really liked doing it last year, and this kind of then makes room to have some new plans and new ideas. Regular listeners may remember that one of my things last year was that I was trying to drink 3 extra glasses of water a day, which I succeeded in doing, with almost my biggest achievement of the year. I was presented that as a kind of heroic success, but no, I had other things in the year that were bigger achievements and of greater weight than my 3 glasses of water. But this year, part of my clearing stuff out, as well as all the kind of clothes and books and CDs and usual stuff, food has been my big focus, because I realise I buy food when it's new and get very excited by it and eat it for a month or 2 and then get bored with it and leave a quarter of it or a third of it in the drawer and move on to some new exciting food. So this first 3 months of the year I have finished off a jar of gherkins, and had been there for really some time, and a sachet of red Thai curry paste that had been there for really, I think since moving into the house, and a jar of miso similarly. I always think if it's fermented, I mean the thing is, if it's fermented, it was sitting around in a jar for several years before, or a vat or a barrel, I don't know what you ferment miso and gherkins in, for really quite a long time before it even made it to the supermarket. So I think use by dates are kind of meaningless. I then also had 5 different types of Japanese noodle in the drawer, which I worked through. They were all lovely. Again, I guess dry things. I mean, if a thing is dry, it more or less lasts forever. What about these? This is kind of in between. So this also I found like endless sorts of little condiments and things. This one, really nice smoked garlic powder. This could go on everything, and from now on will be going on everything. The only disadvantage with the smoked garlic powder, it does make me smell like garlic for the next 24 hours. You kind of it kind of gets activated some way in the stomach, and then you just like exude garlic. It's not a bad thing, but that's maybe why I stopped having it. But I'm gonna this time next year, if I've not finished it by this time next year, I'm throwing it out. But I'm pretty sure I can get through that in a year. And I've had what's this used by May 2015, but again it's dry and it's garlic, so it lasts. Also in the dry category, also really nice, Virgin Islands spiced salt. Spiced salt is a weird thing because in order to put spiced salt on your food, it has to already be neither salty nor spicy, which most of my food already is. So by the time it comes to the table, so the problem is I have it like on one table, and then I'm like, oh well, it's already got salt and spice in it. Why would I add salt and spice? So I'm trying to do a thing where I'm trying to identify food that's sufficiently bland. And you know, since Maddie's not very keen on it, so it's like, well then the food's already been flavoured. I can't just cook completely bland food so that I can put the salt and spice on it, or Maddie would be like, "What are we eating?" I'd be saying, "It's just some courgettes. They're lovely with the salted spice. Put a bit of smoked garlic and salted spice on them. They're lovely." And again, April 2012, but it's dry-ish. I mean, so I guess it's absorbing some moisture from the air. That might be a problem. Um, so yeah, all this stuff has been cleared out. I've almost got nothing left, apart from these 2 jars actually, of things in the house, food which wasn't bought in the last 6 months or something. So, man, if that's not an achievement to rank with developing a habit of drinking 3 glasses of water a day, I don't know what it is. Also slightly concerned because I've balanced the camera on top of a large full glass of water, and I'm slightly wondering if the camera might at some point fall into the water. Don't know. Also slightly worried because I realised that in the break I went away and ate a large salami stick, and I'm wondering if my teeth are full of bits of salami. So if I'm constantly moving my lips, it's because I'm constantly trying to hide my lips for fear of unwitting salami exposure. Just send that take. That was the bad take. You can send that take away. Project. Okay, so having cleared, having decluttered my mind, I feel, by getting rid of all this food, I then felt ready to take on a project. So my project is going to be listening. Well, so I started thinking about jazz, and I was thinking I might listen to some of my old jazz collection, which I've not listened to for a while, and then I started thinking about what did I particularly want to listen to. And then I started thinking, isn't it interesting the way that when the history of jazz gets told, to no one's great surprise, it's told primarily as the story of a number of men. And particularly I think that's the case because it's told as the story of instrument players rather than singers. And that, so although if you work through a kind of canonical history of jazz, it kind of has Ella Fitzgerald and Billie Holiday, and then it goes a bit quiet on the singers front. So, particularly a kind of series of male musicians are thought of only in lecture mode. You can see this. So what we have to understand. So I put my hands down. I continue to do it. It's just that you can't see it because it's underneath the camera. Yeah, so the story gets told in terms of a series of male instrumentalists. So I was thinking, there will be loads of women jazz singers who I don't know about. And indeed there are. So I made this list of about 20 women that I would like to listen to. That then seemed like it was more... I haven't got my hands right. Every so often they kind of peak up like this. So lower. Oh, and now I'm going frenzied hand gestures here. You can't see a thing. So I'm listening to, at the moment, Carmen McRae, who was a contemporary of Billie Holiday, but unlike Billie Holiday, didn't drink herself to death at an early age, so continued to make records up until, I think, the late 80s. Extraordinary to think that Billie Holiday might have gone on making records through the 80s. On the other hand, it also made me think Billie Holiday has the voice of someone who's got a life, and although I'm kind of enjoying the Carmen McRae, it doesn't have the voice of someone who lived a harrowing and traumatic, heroin-addicted life, and consequently it's a little bit a little bit anemic maybe, and I'm thinking, is this going to be the result of this project? I'm just going to constantly be thinking, I wish I was listening to Billie Holiday or Nina Simone. But then that in itself is an interesting challenge, because I think, does that just mean I only want to listen to women who've suffered hideously for their art for my sake? That's quite a big ask. What about some happy singers who don't sound like they're about to die? So that's my project for it. And it may be that this turns into quite a long term. I don't know if this is feasible to make it, like, it may go, it goes on for years, is one of the things I'm thinking, because January, February, March, I've only listened to, I don't listen to tons of music, so I've only listened to a little bit of the Carmen McRae. What am I going to do? Listen to 2 women a year for the next 10 years? It's a little bit mad to have a 10-year project, not least because, predictably, it will probably go the same way as the smoked garlic powder, and I will fill my drawers with CDs by these 20 women, and then move on to something else. And then, like the Noodles, I will be having a big clear out of unfinished CDs. We'll see. So watch this space, listeners. Do you watch a space if you're a listener? Listen to this space. You can't listen to a space, can you? I'm not sure what the metaphor is there. And you can see whether I manage to sustain this project, or whether it goes the same way as the jar of gherkins. Since I've been away, I've eaten a jar of organic ghee. There's a bit left in that. Finished off a jar of mushroom tapenade. Bottle of lemon infused olive oil. And a bottle of balsamic vinegar. So I'm doing very well. Although I have to say, I now slightly regret this, because I'm thinking, in a climate of Brexit food shortages, that could actually, I could probably have eaten that for a week. So clearing all this stuff out, getting all this stuff cleared out of the way, has so one of the other projects that it's freed me up to think about is an assertiveness project. And this is partly because I had 2 big assertiveness fails recently, and they really niggled at me. I think that's the kind of, got brought a plate of food that had gone cold at a restaurant, and I was like, oh no, I should say something, but I'm not going to say anything because I'm hungry. And then also had a gardener do the worst job I've ever seen. Garden's completely full of weeds. They did a rubbish job. And failed to kind of challenge them on that. So I'm thinking, okay, and because they've really niggled at me for a long time, it's made me think, like, I think part of what I always goes through my head is I find confrontation chronically distressing for really quite a long time afterwards. So whether whether that's really any better than leaving it is, to be honest, actually not always that obvious to me. But I was thinking, okay, I could have, even if they had been unpleasant confrontations, it's been really quite a long time of unpleasant brooding, which is almost as bad. So I'm committed to that. I'll let you know how that goes. No, I'm not glowing with optimism about it, you can tell, but I do like the challenge. So if you have, what are your top tips for assertiveness? I'm hoping that you will be able to post those in the comments section underneath this video on YouTube, because I've tried a different setting, which I hope will mean that comments are enabled, because last time I set this as a private video, which means that only the people I had sent links to could access it. I think that's why there were no comment options. Now I'm posting this as a public video, which A, should mean you can comment, and B, could mean that anybody out there could accidentally stumble on it and watch it. So if you are someone who doesn't know me and have got this far on the video, that's 15 minutes of your life that you're never going to get back. And if I were you, I would stop and reflect on the lessons to be drawn from this particular waste of time and how you use the internet. So that's you told off. Yeah, you, Bob from Ohio. So I'm hoping you can post comments about that. Tell me if you're finishing off food. I don't imagine anybody else is doing this. Everybody else is saving it for Brexit wisely. I've chosen completely the wrong project. I'm just realising now. The noodles, the vinegar, I'm really going to regret this. So if I starve, I have no one to blame but myself and my good New Year intentions. As always, thank you for your time. I hope you've enjoyed this. I feel like there was something I was going to say. I feel like I had a definite thing I was going to say. It's gone. I imagine we'll all live without it. And if you can't post comments, then send me an email saying it doesn't work. And I will be frustrated. Okay, I hope to see you in the summer, or the summer broadcast, when I will tell you how my searchiness has gone and what I ate during the food shortage. Okay, goodbye.